Hi there. This is Optimize Every Day, where we look to make a 1% improvement daily. I'm Doug, and as you can tell, I'm not with my normal co host. We have Jamie here, and she's going to be talking with us today. We're going to be talking limiting beliefs. She is an expert in this area. So, we're going to talk to her about limiting beliefs and how that impacts us and how we are prevented from reaching our expectations. So
I don't know if I call myself an expert, but I definitely help people break through the barriers of limiting beliefs regularly.
Okay,
So,
I'll give you that.
okay.
So what is something that we need to know about limiting beliefs?
So people talk about limiting beliefs a lot in popular
Uh-huh.
psychology, and they talk about it like it's just conscious, you know it, you can reframe it and move on from it. And if it was that simple, we'd all be doing great, wouldn't we?
Oh,
If it was
absolutely.
really that simple. The problem is that many of these limiting beliefs are underneath the surface. And so you find yourself, that phone call comes from the credit card company and you don't think you have enough money in your account. Or you're not sure how you're going to pay the bill, so you avoid it because it's uncomfortable. That's a limiting belief that I'll never have enough money, I can never pay it off, I'm not good enough, they're going to think I suck. Those are all just limiting beliefs that are actually keeping you from engaging, getting a plan in place, and then moving your butt forward to fix the problem, right?
Well, that explains me in a T.
Lots of people, especially in this economy, it's very difficult, right? But one thing I do is I'll go upstairs and I'm supposed to invoice clients, and I have to tell them they owe me money. What if they tell me I sucked? What if they tell me I wasn't worth it? What if they just don't want to pay? All these limiting, and then let's play a game. I need to go do the laundry. Anything but the thing that would get me further ahead. And sure, I've had clients who weren't so happy, but that's a one-off from what normally happens.
And probably most of these limiting beliefs are all in your head.
Well, I think that's an easy explanation, right? Because really, when we think in a deeper term, most of us grew up, we experienced things in our lives. Maybe we were bullied, maybe our family was poor, maybe we couldn't have the things we liked, and all of those things, we build pieces of ourselves to protect and behaviors to protect us, right?
Right.
And our system doesn't like it. It doesn't like us feeling that way. And so it goes, stop, we're not going to feel this way. And so it throws the limiting belief. You don't deserve that. You're not worth that. And then we stop whatever we're doing if we tune to it. Now we have a choice. That's where the choice comes in. Do I attune to this thought? Because I probably have 6,000 plus thoughts a day. I don't attune to every one of them.
Right.
Some of them I just let float by. That is stupid. No. I don't even pay attention to it. But for some reason, some of these thoughts just grab our attention and we hold on to them like they're the God's truth from the Bible. And guess what?
Right.
They're not. They're not. They're old.
Yeah.
When you were 6, it might have been good to think, I don't deserve that. Maybe that protected you from feeling bad or blaming your parents or blaming somebody else, and maybe it worked.
Interesting.
Right? Maybe it worked when you were 6. But now you're 36.
Okay.
And still, 36, you go to buy something nice for yourself, or you think about it and you tell yourself you don't deserve it.
Yeah.
And you've worked hard. You maybe made progress in your career, or you know that this will put you in a higher status, that you'll look better, but you won't do it because 6-year-old part is in charge. Okay, if we don't attune to the thought, first of all, it never gets that far.
Right.
But again, some of these things sound really easy, and they take a lot of practice to get mindful to what the thought is, and am I going to pay attention to it? And we have to practice doing that, right?
Okay.
Or we have to talk to the part that says you're not worth it and say, you know what? When I was 6, that made sense. When I'm 36, this is not making sense. I'm an adult. I can choose where my money goes.
Mm-hmm.
I can choose if I deserve it or not. And maybe
Right.
I don't even deserve it, but I want it. I earned it, I want it.
So let me ask you a question here. So these limiting beliefs that are out there, when we're looking on how we can make a 1% behavioral change in our life, how can we deal with these limiting beliefs or turn them around so that they're not negatively impacting, or maybe even figure out a way to turn them around so that they go from a negative to a positive? Is that even possible?
Oh, it's absolutely possible, right? But we have to get attuned to the fact that we're buying into a negative belief, and then we have to decide how we're going to cope with it. We can challenge it. I think this is one of the most powerful ways, in my opinion, is when it tells you you can't make $50,000 in a year. It tells you you can't do that. And you've done it before.
Mm-hmm.
Or let's say maybe you didn't do that, but you know that you ran a race, or you passed your scuba diving test, or you did something really cool that was hard. You did it. Close your eyes. Breathe in and think about that time when you overcame an obstacle. You did something amazing. And think about how it felt. And just stay with that feeling, right?
Right.
Don't you deserve to have that feeling again?
Of course we do.
So did people tell you you couldn't run that marathon? Did they tell you you couldn't pass the test? Did they tell you that's a stupid way to spend your money? Probably. Because we all have the naysayers in our lives, right?
Oh my goodness.
Every one of us, but you know, I started with a goal for my business. I've been in 2 years and I set a financial goal. And I had so many people in my life, you're crazy, you're not going to make it. People in private practice don't do that. It's not possible. It was interesting. In the first 3 months, I had a lot of naysayers, but I kept my goal. I decided I wanted that goal, and I was going to work my butt off to have that goal. Well, as I got 3 months past, I started to get connected with more people who were actually doing it. And they were encouraging, and they were giving tips, and they were helping me. And it felt amazing. So it's like when I got past these naysayers, when I made the choice and I started to actually make progress, new people showed up in my life that were in a totally different space to help me. And I think that happens a lot of times if we let it happen.
So if we're looking to make change and we're pushing those steps harder and harder, things change, and then our societal or our community begins to change as well.
You change.
Yeah.
You stop paying attention to the naysayers. You enjoy their company for what they're for, friends, light conversation.
Right.
You stop talking business with them because they're bringing you down, bud. And so then you need new people, and somehow a Facebook group, a network connection, something happens and the world starts to, I can't explain it. It just starts opening up and you go.
So all of a sudden you have a whole new community.
You have a whole new community that's supporting you and giving you resources and helping you to start thinking differently, and your goals get bigger. And then you reach the goal and you realize, like, I didn't even realize I'd reached my goal. It's kind of funny. I love this story because I'm just going through the year. I know things are going okay. I'm happy with the way financially things are comfortable. But then at the end of the year, I'm starting to do all the books, and I realized that I actually reached my goal. And it was just like a moment of, holy shit, I did it. I did. In spite of everybody saying I couldn't, I kept going, and I figured it out. Now, even if I hadn't figured it out, I would have still been miles ahead because I was pushing forward and opening up new communities.
And with you doing that, that wasn't something where you did it all at once. This was
a year.
Small step, small step,
Yep.
small step, small step, small step, small step. It's like eating the elephant. You know, you got to start somewhere, so you start somewhere, and then at the end of the year, the elephant's all gone.
But I can tell you, back where people were naysayers, I had my doubts. I thought maybe I was crazy dreaming this big, but I'm not afraid to try. I figured if I reach for the moon and hit the stars, it's not going to be all that bad. So why not try? Why not put my heart into it and see what happens? But reaching it, now I can still think. If I close my eyes and really just kind of tapped and just thought about all those feelings, my nervous system would pull them all up again. And if I wanted to set a new goal, I'm in the space where I'm open to it then. And then, yes, I'm going to have to continually clear limiting beliefs. I'm going to have to get on mindset.
So one of the things that is on with the make a 1% change daily is goals are good, but they're not the objective.
No.
The goal is something that's out there that you want to reach, but instead of looking at the goal, you're looking at systems and behaviors and things that will step you to where your goal is. So you're looking at ways to get there so that once you get there, then you have behaviors in place so that you continue, because often when you reach a goal, you know, whatever you were doing that got you to reach the goal all drops off because you've met the goal and you have to start all over. So our
right, like I said, I didn't even know for a year. So I'm like, you know, I had to make some painful choices in my business. There were places where I was losing money or giving away basically pro bono services because of the way things work sometimes. And I had to make some tough choices. And yes, I did lose clients, and I had to believe that the right clients would come back in.
Right.
Which is hard because I didn't know if I'd even keep pace with income when I made those changes. But I knew that I was never going to get there where I was.
Right.
It was this really painful choice. It's like I'm looking at this going, well, I can have this little bit of money and at least I'm floating. But if I drop and everybody drops out on the bottom, oh, I got to rebuild all over again. But it didn't make sense. I was never, I mean, the goal isn't the only thing, but the goal was helpful to say, if I don't drop this, I never get there. This way, it's going to be a hard run sometimes, and I'm going to have to work my butt off, but okay.
So...
And I didn't have to work that hard. That's the funny thing, is once I made the decision, it's like the universe just kind of opened up and started showing me a path, and it worked.
So now you've presented this idea of limiting beliefs. So if my viewers wanted to get a better understanding or know how they can reach out to someone, what do you recommend there?
I mean, I have a workshop on limiting beliefs coming up on 9/27. It's geared to doulas, but you'll get all the benefits. We're going over all the steps. We're not skipping steps. We're focusing it on one group. But if they want to join me, all they got to do is reach out to me at jamiebodycoaching.com, and I would be happy to get them all set up.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Jamie. And hopefully we'll have you on here again.
All right. Thanks, Doug.
All right. Like, subscribe, and comment. And we're out.